Well, it looks like the Memphis Grizzlies, who started the year 6-19, are not dead yet. They are now on a 4-game winning streak since Ja Morant's return after beating the New Orleans Pelicans 116-115 in overtime. And honestly, it was a pretty wild ending, and the Grizzlies looked dead in the water towards the middle of that third quarter. They were down like 16 or 17, but the end of that game was just ridiculous. One, the foul that they called on Ja Morant, which was not a foul, was just straight up ridiculous. And then the challenge that took forever, at least they got it right, but then they called a foul on Jonas on that Jaren Jackson lob out of bounds, go to overtime, and Marcus Smart takes over with a few great defensive plays. Desmond Bane hit a few key threes in crunch time down the stretch of that fourth quarter. Jaren Jackson Jr. took advantage of mismatches, got to the foul line 10 times in this game, and I did not want to write off the Grizzlies while Ja Morant was suspended, even though at times it did not look great at all, and I did not expect him to be 6-19 when Ja Morant returned. I definitely expected them to be hovering around 500 or a little bit below 500, but then all the injuries, Steven Adams, obviously Brandon Clark was out a long time ago, then Marcus Smart goes out for a bit, then Luke Kennard goes out for a bit. They signed Bismack Biyombo to kind of try and shore things up, but now with their full starting five back, or nearly their full starting five back, their big four is back of Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ja Morant, playing together for the first time tonight after Marcus Smart returned from his foot sprain. You kind of saw the vision of what this Grizzlies big four would look like. Jaren Jackson Jr. making big defensive plays, Marcus Smart making big defensive plays. Ja Morant on the night was once again spectacular. He had 31, 7, 5, and 2 blocks, shot 50% from the field. Desmond Bane took 14 threes, still had 27, had 7 assists, and Desmond Bane, low-key, one of the underrated things about Ja Morant's suspension was that Desmond Bane got more opportunity to expand his ball handling capabilities, his shot creation capabilities, and I just think that's going to pay off big time down the road. I am not counting out this Memphis team yet. If you just look at their play-in chances, the standings, one, the Phoenix Suns just look like they're in complete disarray. They can't get healthy. For some reason, the Suns' defense is terrible. Their offense is pretty mid despite having Booker and Durant. And it's just a bunch of minimum guys, and Frank Vogel's still trying to figure out his lineups and his rotations. The Utah Jazz have been playing better recently, but if you're just talking about top-end talent, I'm taking the Grizzlies' top-end talent. The Warriors have been up and down. The Lakers have also been up and down since the end of the in-season tournament. The Rockets, they have a great defense, but their offense can be shaky. So if I'm a Memphis Grizzlies fan and I'm looking at my team's upcoming schedule, the Nuggets on the road this Thursday, that's going to be tough. The Clippers have been playing really well. They're going to be playing the Clippers in LA off of a back-to-back, and then they're going to play the Kings on Sunday. That's a tough 3-game West Coast road trip, but if they're able to get one win out of that 3, and then you're home for the Spurs, the Raptors, you're going to face a struggling Lakers team next Friday, not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday. And you're kind of facing some of the more inconsistent West teams from the 8 through 10 area, the 8 through 12 area. I'll even throw the Pelicans in there because they did beat the Pelicans twice. And the Pelicans, one day you believe in them and then the next day you don't believe in them. They build up a big lead in the game and then they just blow it. My point is, I did not want to write off this Grizzlies team when they got off to that, even when they got off to that really poor start, because their best player had not played a single game yet. Desmond Bane was getting more chances to just grow and expand outside of his palette. Jaren Jackson Jr. has also added stuff to his offensive game. Marcus Smart is still Marcus Smart. He'll do Marcus Smart things, make the game-winning plays, make the great defensive plays, secondary shot creator. I really like that 3-guard lineup of Ja, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart. They just all do different things. Desmond Bane can also just obviously stretch the floor from deep, while Marcus Smart can post up, can play make, and while he is a streaky shooter, he is not one that lacks confidence, I will say that. And then you got Ja Morant, the megastar. And then Jaren Jackson Jr., even if, say, the Jaren Jackson Bismack Biyombo pairing doesn't work at some point in the game, the Grizzlies went to Xavier Tillman in overtime, and it was the Xavier Tillman, Jaren Jackson Jr. front court, and that worked well. And then Luke Kennard will be coming back soon, and we'll see if Luke Kennard will actually shoot unconsciously and, not hesitate. I saw a report recently that Brandon Clark is expected to be back sometime in February. Now, he probably won't be the same because he did get an Achilles injury, but the last few seasons, that Jaren Jackson, Brandon Clark front court was one of the Grizzlies' best lineups across their entire team. And then you try to see what you got out of the grab bag of young guys like Zaire Williams, who did not play well today in his 11 minutes. David Roddy, he played a little bit better. Maybe you could get something out of them. They have been trying to patchwork the rotation with Vince Williams Jr., and that seems to be working a bit. Really hit the boards today. But I'm very optimistic about the Grizzlies' chances of making the play-in. They got top-end talent, and they got a great head coach. Before the season, I was pretty high on the Memphis Grizzlies, and, who knows? Maybe by the end of the season, you might see the Grizzlies sneak into the play-in. I'm not counting this team out yet. I think the Grizzlies could go on a run here.